This is Valerie Henrique. Let me expose in this video two of the most racist and corrupt judges in Canada. And they are Laura Baird and Philip Sutherland, both of which works in the Toronto East region in Newmarket Superior Court of Justice. They need to be exposed for their corruption and racism, and for the people of Canada and the rest of the world, for their peers also to see how they are a part of the racist Canadian judicial system. They are no longer going to hide. People are going to know that they are sitting on those benches, destroying lives, targeting certain people from certain groups within Canadian society and destroying their lives without any kind of concern for their constitutional rights or for their international human rights. The right to life, the right to shelter, food, liberty, all of those things, it means nothing to these two judges and so many more like them in Canada. For a long time, Canada has hidden its human rights abuse crimes in front of the world and presented a facade. Well, in this video today, I'm going to expose these two judges, Laura Baird and Philip Sutherland. I just received some endorsement from Laura Baird because I filed an urgent motion on May 5th before her regarding an eviction, which obviously is going to cause me irreparable harm. She dismissed it without prejudice, saying that she wanted it served on the respondents, knowing full well that by the time that gets to be done, including any responses, obviously their responses to any motion served on them, is going to take a long time. So because she dismissed it without prejudice, that also opened up the door for me to file a motion where this other one is not going to bear too much factor in this. That's why it's without prejudice. Well, it went before this other judge, because I filed that today. Went before Sutherland. He pretty much upheld what Laura Stewart did. I also explained in my motion materials that because of my medical condition, as well as just the situation itself, I'm facing irreparable harm. This didn't concern these racist piece of shit judges. That never came up. The only thing they talk about is the fact that I didn't prepare an affidavit, and they want me to prepare the affidavit. And it says in the rules of civil procedure in Canada that if it is urgent matter, the formalities of a regular motion can be dispensed with, okay? Including affidavits, including factums and motion records and all of these things. And I specifically stated in my motion that I was going to be preparing a better motion, because this one that I did wasn't even typed up. I just wrote it out. And that's not normally my practice. I usually write up, type everything up. But because of the emergency situation where I am facing irreparable harm, and they knew that, and still they did not even look at the harm that I'm facing, because now I'm homeless, and now it didn't matter to them what harm I will suffer. He's now endorsing what she's saying. You need to go and do an affidavit, serve it on the response. Because why are these two white son of a fucking bitch judges insisting on treating the ex parte motion as a regular motion? An ex parte motion that I filed stated it in the motion document that it's an ex parte motion, meaning I did not serve the respondents because of the urgency of the situation. Now they're telling me, no, you go serve the respondents and they have certain amount of time and you have, that means they totally disregard the irreparable harm that they have now put me into. So let me explain this situation. And he's also stated, I'm going to print this up and post it, is endorsement. He pretty much continued with what the other racist bitch, Laura Baird, did earlier, which is to totally disregard my situation or any harm that I would be facing and turn the ex parte motion into a regular motion. No, you need to serve the respondent and file an affidavit with your motion. So when I did all of these things, I was told by the clerks in the court that the judges are away on a conference. Anyway, they still check their stuff. So it first went to this duty judge, or I guess they call her administrative judge. They call her duty judge. I'm used to the term administrative. So it went to her, Laura B. Beard, and she disregarded the harm to me. You don't understand. You don't understand. The corruptness and the evilness of these people. They're sitting on the benches and they're supposed to be fair. The first thing they need to regard is your human rights, your basic human right, your right to life, shelter, and things like that. Liberty, things like that. But in a critical situation, to life. They're not regarding that in my case. So I want to expose them before the people of Canada, and I want to expose them before the people of the world, the entire world. There are so many racist judges like them in the Canadian judicial system that will easily destroy the lives of certain people without even a second thought, because these two son of a bitches did not give any second thought to the harm that they have caused to me, because black people's lives don't matter in Canada. Certainly not my life. So now let me expose to the rest of Canada and the world what it is that's going to happen now. Because I contacted the International Criminal Court yesterday regarding prosecuting these son of a bitch in the ICC. Because as a victim, it's my right under the Rome Statute not only to get legal representation, but also to participate in any legal proceeding in that court against these people that I'm prosecuting. So I'm letting you people know right now in Canada and the rest of the world that these two judges that I've just mentioned, Laura Baird and Philip Sutherland, I believe that's his name, are going to be prosecuted for committing crimes against humanity against me. That is my number one effort right now. I'm going to be contacting the court again tomorrow, the ICC. See how I can go around what they're doing right now, even though the court does not interfere in what's happening in these states. They just focus on that court. These two judges need to know that they're going to face crimes, prosecution in the ICC for committing crimes against humanity, against me, for taking away my right to life, for taking away my right to the security of my person, even under the Canadian Constitution. They're not going to do these things in secret and sit back and hide and laugh with their peers while they secretly go around destroying people's lives, black people's lives in Canada. No fucking Canada, you're answerable to the ICC now. This is one black woman whose life you're not going to be destroying like that. It's not happening. The affidavit that he's insisting on, I am going to do it. But you need to understand, none of these two judges look at the urgency of the situation. I never said that I am not going to do a more formal motion where it would involve evidence and motion record and factum and affidavit and everything. But I wanted them to focus on my immediate situation, which is that I was forced to be homeless right now by these respondents. And so they're not even regarding my situation at all, including my medical situation. Their actions is causing me irreparable harm. They have no right to do that because their number one fucking job is to enforce international human rights laws in the Canadian court. Because all of their fucking constitution, all of their laws, all of these things are supposed to be based on human rights. The right to life. The right of a human being to be treated with dignity and respect by the Canadian judiciary. They did not respect my right to life. So now the ICC is going to have to intervene in this matter because I'm not going to lay down and let them chop my head off. He's telling me in his endorsement that I have 14 days to comply with providing an affidavit and to serve the respondent. What the fuck do you think is going to happen in 14 days if I'm homeless? Or to anybody in that situation? You have no right to do that. Your number one job is to be fair in your decisions. Your number one job is to respect the Canadian Constitution, including the Charter of Rights and Freedom, which guaranteed my so-called rights, to equal access to the law and benefit of the law. Where is this today? Because it is so hard to prosecute these people in Canada, because judges have immunity, this is not the case on the international human rights courts, like the Rome Statute in the ICC. You can prosecute their asses there. So I'm telling these two judges today, they are going to be prosecuted in the ICC for committing torture, because this is torture against me, and human rights abuse, crimes against humanity. They participated in that today because they know that the decision that they're making today is going to cause me irreparable harm that no fucking money or compensation can cover. Okay? They knew that. That was their intention, to cause me harm. It was their intention to cause me harm. And it is my intention now to expose them to the rest of Canada, to the rest of the world. These are two judges who are sitting on benches in Canada who need to be removed because they do not represent the interests of the public. They don't act in the best interests of the public. They target certain groups of people who have no rights. They enforce systematic racism in the courts, in the judicial system. These two judges, Laura Baird and Sutherland, both. Because as a black woman going before them, I was of no importance. My rights were of no importance. We don't care if you fucking die. We don't care if you suffer. As a matter of fact, we want you to suffer. We want you to die because we already know about your medical condition and I hope it gets worse. Well, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to live and I'm going to enjoy seeing you being prosecuted in the ICC. Because I'm telling you, that court cannot tell me no. I'm going to enjoy prosecuting you in the ICC, Laura Baird and Philip Sutherland, as Canadian judges who committed crimes against humanity against me, who committed torture against me. Explain why you would not regard my medical situation or the physical situation that I'm in and focus your freaking decision on some procedural thing. When the fucking law, the rules under the rules of civil procedure says all of these formalities can be dispensed with when it's a fucking urgent situation. You dispense with all of them. And you say, no, I want you to do all of this first before we're going to hear you and hear your case. That is so unfair. That is so evil. You need to be exposed for that. You need to be exposed for doing this. You need to stop destroying black people's lives in your Canadian judicial system. your racist judicial system, which had no regard. And this is also part of a bigger conspiracy. So more judges like him are going to be prosecuted in the ICC. But you know what? Rest assured, I swear on my children's lives, and I don't swear on my kids' lives ever, and also on mine, I'm going to live to see you prosecuted in the ICC, International Criminal Court. You two son of a bitches. I have no respect for you. You're not your honor right now. You're just an evil people. I don't even know if you're humans. You're not humans. You have no conscience. Your conscience is seared. You're not human being. You have no morals, no ethical upholding behavior or conduct or standards. You have none. Zero. You went from being a corrupt lawyer to a corrupt judge. Both of you. You're both corrupt. But one thing I can promise is that you're not going to hide any longer. The people of Canada is going to know you. And believe me, I keep running into other people who are being taken advantage of by these wicked judges. You're being taken advantage. Their rights are not being recognized. When you're self-rep and I'm self-rep and they expect us to be stupid and dumb, they don't want us to understand that the law is just another fucking, vocation. You're not anymore really smarter than me. That if we put our head to it, we can study and we can know the things that you already know. You must have been a corrupt lawyer. And now you're turning into a corrupt judge. We can see your character. I'm not even going to waste time with a very long video. This should be sufficient. That when a black person come before you in the Canadian court, you're not going to regard their life. You're not going to regard their safety. You're not going to operate a legal proceeding in a fair and equal manner. That they should be able to come to the court with confidence that you're going to uphold their constitutional rights. No. You sit back and you're like, how can I fucking destroy this woman? How can I do things to hurt her even more? And you're all part of the bigger conspiracy. You're all wondering why I'm still standing. Because many people have fallen with the things that you've done to them. Secretly behind closed doors. Because I bet you did not expect for me to expose you today with what you have done. Letting the people know that someone can come before you even asking for equitable relief. I didn't ask that because I didn't quote section 96 of the Court of Justice Act asking for equitable relief. Because it would have been denied anyways by you. Because you had made up your mind not to honor my rights in the courts today. And I, on the other hand, have made up my mind to prosecute you in the high season. If you think I'm bullshitting, just sit down and watch and see. You're not getting away with destroying my life. My life mattered to me. Okay? And based on the Canadian law, it should have mattered to you today too. If you were being fair. If you were respecting my human rights, the right to life, which we also have here in this country, Canada. The right to the security of your person, Section 7 under the Charter, is still a right to life. You're a despicable version of a human being. And I want to see you remove off those benches. People of Canada, this judge do not deserve to sit on any bench in Canada and have any say over our lives. These two judges, Laura Stewart and Philip Sutherland. Let the world know what you did. That when someone come to you and said, I'm in an urgent situation and my life is in danger and at risk, you said, fuck that. Go and prepare your documents properly. Take as long as you want, up to 2 weeks, whatever. We don't care. Come back with your prepared document, and I hope you drop dead in the meantime. Fuck you too. I hope I win my case against you in the International Criminal Court. And I'm going to plaster your pictures and, if I'm allowed, everything that goes on in that court when I prosecute both of you there. So you didn't get away with your attempts to destroy my life. I will live to see you prosecuted as the criminal that you are in the International Criminal Court. Well, let me make some corrections before I proceed with this thing. Judge Philip Sutherland, is a judge, a black judge in the Superior Court of Justice in Canada, in Ontario, Canada. I believe he was a white judge because I really cannot believe that a black judge would sit on a bench and deliberately destroy the life of another black person and also become entangled in the racist judicial Canadian justice system here. So now I have more evidence of how I'm targeted in this country, that even people of my own race has no regard for my safety or for my rights under the Canadian Constitution or under international human rights laws, such as under the Rome Statute or the UN Declaration on Human Rights or the UN, many other conventions and body standards, human rights standards that Canada has ratified. So many of those human rights treaties, and have never complied with any of them. And it only ratified those treaties in order to make itself look good on the world stage. Corruption has no color. Corruption has no face except the ugly black art of the people who are doing this. This black judge, instead of setting himself apart and doing things to help his own black community, he's now destroying my life, telling me, does he know that I'm suffering irreparable harm because of the actions of the respondents? Why does he go and support this white judge, Laura Baird, in her racist attitude and said, oh, she need to go and file an affidavit? I will be working on the affidavit ASAP. I already know that 100% of those judges require affidavit, but for God's sake, the situation is urgent, okay? You could have said, do this, because we're all going back to the court. This is just an interlocutory order. This is just a temporary order, right? I think in Ontario, it's 10 days for interlocutory order. So it's not like I wasn't going to be getting an affidavit and putting it as part of my motion record and come to the court prepared. I just wanted you to fucking save me out of this situation that these wicked, evil people has put me in, these corrupt people, because when this thing come fully out in the court, and I know you're going to protect them, because what money matters to you people. Money and your clout and your prestige, not about human dignity, not about fairness, not about representing Canadian society in the best light, not about morality, not about ethical standards. No, corruption. What these people are involved in is municipal corruption. Erin Kelly, the manager, Kevin Powell, the director of housing program, they are in a conflict of interest with the housing provider. That is the real reason why they want to put me through this, because I have people there, staff members there, who backs me and like, we don't understand why they're doing this, but just because you stand up for these things, because that's what I do. I stand up for what's right in society. And I pay the price for it. Right now, I'm paying the price for it by being fucking forced out of that place on my own on the streets. right? And they did that with an evil satisfaction. And now you, as a black judge, is going to endorse what they're doing. I'm going to prove that they have committed municipal fraud, conflict of interest in the relationship between the respondents, okay, the municipality and the housing provider, the corruption of the bloody freaking director there, Frederick Alphonsus, how he racism just run blatant there, discrimination just run blatant there. You know, so many things I want to put into my motion, not even this motion, the other motion to go with the other originating process, court proceeding that I'm doing. These things need to come out because at the end of the day, all of them are answerable to the public, but that's not how they see themselves. They see themselves as the law unto themselves because they have such position and the money that they're stealing from the public with their misappropriation of funds and all of these things. They're in the position to think that they can do all of these things to people, to vulnerable people, and you're not supposed to say anything. You mustn't speak out because they'll kick you to the street. Well, they're in for a fight. But this black judge, Philip Sutherland, who now go and join this white bitch, Laura Baird, and don't expect me to call none of you guys honorable nothing because you're not. Okay? You're not. Act honorable. Respect human dignity. Respect human lives. Enforce human rights code under the UN declaration and all of these things that they put in place for you to respect the dignity of each human being, that their life has value. Don't carry out torture against them. I'm just fucking looking forward to seeing your ass prosecuted in the ICC for carrying out torture against me. Not just you. The whole bunch of you judges in Canada. I will do it until there's no breath in my body. I'm telling you right now. So the correction here is that this guy is a black judge in Canada. In the rest of the video, I call him white, but he's black. But he's just the same. There's no distinction when it comes to evil and corruption. As a matter of fact, if you have to be accepted,
so much, and then that's all I can do. I can't do anymore.
You know what I'm saying? If you have to, people talking in the background. If you want to be accepted, you have to become like them. Same with the police. Same with all of these satanic Freemason fraternities. You know, you give your handshake and then your cases proceed in the court. Well, you know what? I don't like the Illuminati or Freemason. Let me just get off that topic because that's not relevant to what I'm saying right now. Okay? So this judge is a black judge. Keep that at the back of your mind. I will be posting this picture anyways with this to go with the video. So just so that you know.